The Unlovely Truth discusses what happens at the intersection of faith and true crime, so some of our topics may be difficult for young or sensitive listeners. Please use discretion. With Christmas right around the corner, we're all very busy, so the next 2 weeks are mini episodes that won't keep you away from your wrapping, baking, shopping, and all of the other things that make this time of the year so special. I absolutely love the Christmas season. I love seeing everyone's lights, love putting up decorations, giving presents, and watching people act just a bit kinder at this time of the year. But it's not a happy time for everyone. Long simmering family tensions can quickly escalate, often with tragic results. Christmas of 1993 was that second type of Christmas for the family of Latricia Gail White. Welcome to episode 51 of The Unlovely Truth. Latricia, who went by Trish, worked as a nurse in Lockhart, Texas. She was seeing a man named Lee Wackerhagen, known to friends and family as Dub. They had dated years earlier when they were students at Lockhart High School, but ended up going their separate ways. They rekindled their romance after they had both been married and divorced. Trish had 2 children from her previous marriage, and Dub had a 9-year-old son named Chance. Some accounts of their story say that they had lived together for 6 months, others that Dub and his son were only staying over for a few days. Whichever is true, none dispute what happened right after Christmas. On December 27th, Trish was due at work, but she never showed up. Her co-workers and Father Jack were, of course, very concerned. Jack went to Trish's home to look for her, and instead found her body. She had been shot in the head 6 times. As police began to investigate, they found that Dub was jealous and abusive in his relationship with Trish. Witnesses said he often yelled at her and wanted to know where she was at all times. However, Dub's sister said that the couple's fights were not serious, but his ex-wife said he had a temper and had at times been abusive with her. 4 days before Trish's murder, a friend witnessed an argument between them about Chance leaving a faucet running. It had overflowed, and water cascaded across the floor. Trish yelled at the boy, and Dub angrily announced that he and his son were leaving. However, 3 days later, they were all seen together again at a restaurant. But sadly, fights between the two were common, and they were usually about Chance's behavior, which Trish was critical of. Chance was supposed to return to his mother's home on Christmas Day, but he had called her and asked to stay longer. She agreed, and they decided that Chance would call back to set a time to return home. But he never made that call. After Trish's body was discovered, Dub was an immediate suspect just by virtue of being her boyfriend. That's standard for any investigation. You start with the people closest to the victim until you can eliminate each one of them as a suspect. Things got complicated when it became apparent that Dub and Chance had vanished. Although Dub was quickly charged with Trish's murder, his family insisted that he was innocent. They believe an unknown person killed Trish, Dub, and Chance. Authorities believed that Dub's temper had led him to murder Trish and abduct Chance. They searched Trish's home and found unwrapped Christmas presents, suggesting that the murder and Lee and Chance's disappearance had occurred before Christmas Day. 3 days after Trish's body was discovered, Dub's 1986 Ford pickup truck was found in a field outside of Austin, Texas. It's not known how it got there. It was 30 miles away from Trish's apartment. In the bed of the truck lay Christmas gifts, unopened and spattered with blood. Dub's rifle was in the truck, but it hadn't been fired recently, according to tests run by police. Dub's wallet and checkbook were there too. The blood on the packages was tested, and while some of it did turn out to be Trish's, some wasn't. The tests were inconclusive as to whether Dub or Chance were the source of the blood. Despite being presented on America's Most Wanted, the case quickly went cold. Several months later, Chance's grandfather received a phone call from somebody who whispered, "Help me," and then hung up. He firmly believes that the call was from Chance, but Dub's family thinks that it was just a cruel prank. I've worked cases where people will troll victims' families for one twisted reason or another. There's just no way to know for sure who made that call. Nothing in Trish's home was missing or disturbed, so police decided that her murder was a crime of passion, and those are usually committed by someone close to the victim. In the early days of the investigation, police seemed focused mainly, if not entirely, on Dub. For years, they believed he'd murdered Trish, then voluntarily disappeared with his son. But as the years turn to decades, passing with no trace of them, that scenario becomes less and less likely. In the spring of 2016, 23 long years after Trish's murder, the Lockhart police reopened the case, telling the public that they had a new lead. They now believe Dub and Chance were both victims of foul play. Neither the substance nor the source of the new lead has been disclosed to the public. Now the suspect in the case is Trish's ex-husband. The two were involved in a custody battle prior to her murder. As an investigator, this completely puzzles and troubles me. Police surely knew at the time of the murder that Trish had an ex-husband and that they were in a custody dispute. That man should have been a suspect immediately. Maybe he was, or maybe somebody dropped the ball. It's not too late to get justice for Trish, Dub, and Chance. Please share the podcast, especially with folks you know in the Austin, Texas area. It's time for whoever knows what happened to come forward. Like I said before, I love Christmas. I love the reminder that our Creator came to live with us, not as a conquering hero, but as a helpless, dependent child. But when he comes again, as he's promised he'll do, it will be so much different. After Jesus told the disciples to prepare for his coming death, he said in Matthew chapter 16, beginning in verse 26, "And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world, but lose your own soul? For the Son of Man will come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and will judge all people according to their deeds." Sometimes criminals literally get away with murder, but they will be held accountable eventually. In Luke 8:17, Jesus teaches that all that is secret will eventually be brought into the open, and everything that is concealed will be brought to light and made known to all. My challenge to all of us this week is to be a person who helps bring secrets out in the open. Someone knows what happened to Trish, Dub, and Chance. Help their families finally know the truth. Check out the show notes or my website for more information on the case, as well as numbers you can call if you have any information. And be on the lookout for my ebook, True Crime Stories in the Bible, Christian Service with a Twist. I'll be offering it soon, and it's free. Crime has always existed, and God has always raised up heroes. You'll be able to read the featured stories and also learn about present-day heroes working with victims. My hope is that it will give you inspiration and direction to become an advocate for victims yourself. And when you're ready to do that, you'll have access to even more resources, including the chance to get bonus content, including hearing more from me and Lori Prather. The Unlovely Truth is written and produced by me, Lori Morrison. Music is by Neocortex, and artwork is by Shelby Hyland. Please share this episode so we can include more people in the Unlovely Truth tribe. Working together, we can make a real difference for victims like the ones featured on the podcast. See you all next time, and Merry Christmas.